really grateful if you follow them. So we would like to inform the participants to keep their microphone off and camera off during the session, but they can unmute themselves to ask the question in the question answer session. However, if you are allowed to unmute if sir asks you any question and you want to answer. In the meantime, you may send any questions that you might have in the chat box, and please use only parliamentary language while doing so. I would also like to introduce about us a little. So I would like to share a feature. Hello, is my screen visible? Can someone please confirm?
Yes.
So we are IP Trademark Clinic, as you must be aware. So I would like to tell you a little about us. So we are our IP Trademark Clinic is situated in Patna, Bihar, and we provide end-to-end trademark services and other IPR-related services in the industry. We are a team of very young professionals, but we have constantly delivered and consistently delivered quality service to our clients. We aim to help our clients with the legal and regulatory requirements and to be partner throughout the business cycle that they have. Our vision and mission is very important to us. Our vision is to provide the best IT services to our clients by providing them with the right strategy and professional advice to help them in protecting their valuable intellectual property. And our mission is to establish the culture of protecting intellectual property rights in Bihar by spreading awareness like such events and the importance of IP for one's business, along with promoting knowledge in the field of intellectual property law as well as practice in inspiring law students and IP enthusiasts. So there are the services that we provide are in trademark, copyright, and other areas as well. So in trademark, we provide consultancy, search, filing, and prosecution, everything. And in copyright, we do registration, prosecution, licensing agreements, contracts, etc. And we also deal in patents, designs, and also provide contract drafting and negotiation. I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce our founder, Mr. Robin Vincent. So Robin sir is currently practicing as an advocate and an IP attorney in Patna, Bihar. He has completed his BA LLB with intellectual property honors from Central University of South Bihar, and he has done his post-graduation diploma in intellectual property rights from Indian Law Institute, Delhi. He was previously associated with RNA Technology and IP attorneys as a trainee associate. He also worked as an associate corporate legal partners. Currently, he is practicing as an advocate at Patna High Court and as a trademark attorney before the Registry of Trademarks. And as you know, we have Trademark Clinic only because of Sir. So we are very grateful for him. So here is a few contact details that you can note down if you would like to associate with us in future. Now I would like Robin sir to do the honors and invite our guest.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. That is very glad that in a short period you have accepted our invitation and without any hesitation. Uh, uh, we are honored to have you, and we will be uh, like our college days. We will with the same enthusiasm. Uh, I am here to learn something new today itself on the theme that we have today on this IP day, and uh, Sir needs no mention, but I would like to introduce Sir. Sir is currently the head and dean of Department of Law and Governance, Central University of South Bihar, Gaya. He has obtained his LLB and LLM degrees from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. He has been awarded a gold medal for securing the first rank in LLM in the university. He did his doctorate in law from the Faculty of Law, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, on patenting of biotechnological inventions in India, a critical appraisal. His specializations are intellectual property law, international trade law, competition law, cyber law, and law and governance. He has published extensively in intellectual property law, administrative law, cyber law, and human rights in reputed national and international law journals. He is serving as a member of editorial boards of various reputed national and international journals. He is also the visiting faculty of the Indian Law Institute, Delhi, and the Indian Institute of Public Administration. He has also authored two books, Patenting of Biotechnology Innovations in India and Law Relating to Patents and Legal Methods. Sir, we are again very glad to have you today, and we would like you to enlighten us on the today's theme of the IP Day, that is IP and York innovating for a better future. Uh, as Sir has experience in patents, uh, so innovation is there in intellectual property, and I think we will have a great session to look forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ravin. Thank you, Sakshi. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes.
Okay. Uh, since the today's session is about the youth, I have entitled my title Intellectual Property Rights, Innovation, Youth and Entrepreneurship. Uh, Considering why we should give information to youth, I have structured my title in three parts. Look at what is the possibility, youth and IPR. Youth is a consumer of IPR related things. Youth is a creator of IPR related things. And youth is a violator of IPR things. Now, if you have to understand today things, look at the things, what is the possibility about the youth? Why youth need to be aware? Why the WIPO has chosen this topic this year? As a broad theme, if you look at it, youth is having what? Untapped source of ingenuity and creativity. And when I say untapped source of ingenuity and creativity, what things the youth have? If you ask to any youth, today youth is willing to challenge the status quo. He's not willing to accept in this today digital world. Look at whatever area, whatever things you say. He's always willing to challenge. He said, no, there's an alternative mechanism to do. There's an alternative option for this. Every time you'll find the youth have a answer to the things. He is providing answer as well as challenging the existing system. So because the youth is in a position to challenge the status quo, we need to understand what youth can do. Whenever you talk to youth about whatever the traditional issue which we consider, our generation consider that this is a problem, they have a new perspective for it. Not merely perspective. If you assign them any task, they will come with the option of, yes, sir, this can be done. The possibility of doing, the claim of the youth, you assign the things, they can do the things. They have a capacity of problem solving. They have an energy, as well as they have a creativity. But there is three layers youth are there. One, the ingenuity and creativity is there, but at the same time, if you look at the youth, current youth you will categorize as what? Youth are a generation of pragmatic thinking. Now, when I say the youth is a pragmatic thinking, when society looked at youth as a pragmatic thinker, pragmatic as a student of jurisprudence, what you understand? The pragmatic person does not believe on the any principle. He has a practical approach to everything. Now, He has a practical approach to anything. Here comes the IPR and the conflict between the. He may indulge in privacy, so he may indulge into the uh, piracy, he may cause infringement, he may create the potentiality which he has. Now you can understand why this youth needs to be trained. I'll give a simple example. If any one of you are aware, or almost everybody who is participating here knows the background Copyright Act with respect to software use, where there is a clear cut, if you are using any pirated software, there is a punishment. Now look at the system of today. The things have changed, but still there are majority system you'll find almost every student, every youth is using the pirated material. The content, whether song you are using or whether any program designing have been assigned to you. Look at the browser of any program. Whether it is a move code browser or any kind of assignment is given to you. Irrespective of fact, what are you are going to do? If you examine the browser, if you look at the majority of the website, even their primary page, the design, you'll find that the starting from the content to the design part to the logo part, each and everything, you'll find the user whom I named in the first stage, that they have an ingenuity, they have a creativity, they have a potentiality. This youth, because nobody had punished, nobody talked about until today. If you talk to any other department person, what we consider, irrespective of fact, that the role of IPR is in each every home, is starting from early morning to late night, whatever things you do, whether you purchase any product or whether you are ending your day or your night with any kind of song, every time you are indulged with whether you are purchasing any brand, every time you are indulged with, you are dealing with the IPR related issue. But still, if you look at the total society, what we find, the perception of the society in general is the IPR is something which needs to be known by the only the law department person, or those who are innovating and creating a new through invention, creating a new product. It is a domain of them, or those persons who are starting a new industry. It is only for them. Whereas it is today, you'll find with our life in such a manner that it's a part and parcel of life. But even if it is a parcel of life, the basic nuances, the basic understanding, the basic potentiality of this branch is still remain to be explored. Despite the fact it has a capacity of doing so many things, contrary, you'll find whatever the youth can do, they are more, you'll find they are more involved with the category of pirater, more in the category of infringer. And most of the time, the most interesting part is what? Most of the time, they are doing the things unknowingly. Now, coming to the last part. First, they have the ingenuity, they have the capacity of creating, but because of their pragmatic approach, they are trapped or they are involved in the category which is basically a threat to the development of the IP system, which is threat to the development of nation. If you are properly training, properly creating and moving for advocacy to youth, what youth creativity, what youth innovation can give. The youth have a capacity of creating anything, innovating anything, doing alternatively. From idea, the youth potentiality can be taken to industry. Now, once you have given a proper training, the WIPO, what WIPO conceived, the proper training to youth, proper training to every stakeholder who are using the IP related product, who are associated with either way the IP. Everybody is the stakeholder for IPR. Their idea can take them from the simply an idea to a creation of industry. You can be entrepreneur, you can start a startup, and once the proper training is given, what advantage the nation, what advantage the culture have, what advantage the local community have, what advantage the economy of the nation is there. This you can categorize that this IP has a capacity to taking youth and the present generation from a simple idea to create to a creation of industry. Now, creation of industry, you can, according to your uh, understanding club, as an entrepreneur, as a starter, or facilitator, or to look in a different manner for the any issue. Now, here, talk about the till our generation, till we do not understand what is the advantage of the IPR. You are always looking to the government for creation of job. Contrary to this, look at the today's society. What value, how many cars the Ola have? What worth the Amazon have as an asset part? They have utilized the possibility of digital technology as an aggregator, creating job, and not merely creating job. Their idea in the form of industry is enriching the each and every aspect of the nation and complete economic growth of the nation, complete economic growth of the. I'll give you one example of one nature gram has been created in my town by the one of the MBA person. Now look at here, a village which is known for the purpose of there's no employment, all this IPR aspect he has learned all the things, and the village he has created an option of a nature gram, and where all birds and all the things have been artificially created, all the things, and the people are visiting to the place. Now, considering that what we need, what the current generation is required, rather than after doing the master degree of management, working with a certain company, he has created a complete nature gram, and where more than 100 people are getting employment. Your capacity as a worker and as your capacity as a creator, your capacity as an entrepreneur are bigger. And this you can understand and appreciate when you can appreciate this. This is possible to appreciate when you understand the potentiality of, you have a complete knowledge of the what IP education is. And for that perspective, the today discussion are the whole of this WIPO program is focusing on. Now look at here, I'll go from this, how the youth and IPR is related. They are consumer also, they are the creator also, and they can be violator of the things. Now, how to transform the knowledge of the youth of this current generation, that in place of that they are going to create the things, they are going to recognize the things, they are going to understand the market value of the things, they are going to be a job creator, they are going to be nation builder. You need to turn them as a using this, that they are they have a potentiality of creating the things, they have a potentiality of doing the things. Now 5 aspects of things are involved to understand why IP education is important to be entrepreneur. Now when I say 5 aspect is there, look at what are the 5 aspect is there. If first of all, if you look at the things, Most of the time, what happens that our teacher, our trainer, everybody is training you in what manner? Mug up and write. Whereas when you make even a single sentence, your sentence, whatever we are discussing today here on this platform, uh, this could be sold into sold from the many platform. This could be translated automatically here using the technology. It has a potentiality of using from a multi-dimensional perspective. Now, what normally the people say, don't challenge. Whereas when we look at the IP training as an entrepreneur, if as a youth I'm giving, the first thing is that I consider that if you understand the things, this perspective of understanding of IP will allow you to explore new ideas and express in a different way. That whatever you create, whatever you know, till the time it is simply your within your brain, you can't take anybody idea, anybody books, and from there, if you are giving a different dimension, different, like if I talk about the adaptation concept, those who are the student of copyright, they must be understanding the adaptation here. Now, look at here, how many times when after reading any of the literary book, you conceive an idea to express the things to a small children, and how many times you consider that these things I will take to the school, and through a comics I will try to understand the things to a school child. How many times you consider a painting which is there, the painting thoughts can be expressed by making a documentary. Now, all those possibility on a technical word is there, a legal man, the adaptation concept is given. But the possibility of exploring, possibility of giving a new dimension to your thought, it is possible when you have been created, when you have been made, that you are, it is possible that you could be a, what, you can use these things as an entrepreneur, and each and everything has a value, and it can be sold into the market. Now, related to this, now, if you have to train the student, what is required? The second aspect, if I'm telling these are the possibilities there. Now you have to train the mind in this manner that you must, whatever ideas are there, whatever things are there, whatever you are considering, assess the knowledge and the market perspective. What markets are there? Who all are the stakeholders are there? To whom I can take these ideas, in what manner? Even if you look at the government, consider, or the live school, or anybody consider the things in what manner? Still, are any of the management school is are teaching the IPR? IPR is what? There are 7 branches in this manner. Not permitting you to think in this manner, that look at here, these are the possibility, but first of all, as a think and look at the things and assess the thing, assess the knowledge, assess the current material available from the perspective of market, and what potentiality is there. Understand the potentiality and who all are there already in the field. Now, from there, coming with the concept as a student of a market also, I understand most of the time I say one thing, that is develop a dynamic efficiency concept, inculcate a dynamic efficiency approach in terms of every expression. Now, when I say the dynamic efficiency as a market student along with the IPR in competition, we talk about understand what are the potential option of rivals, what are the potential option of your users. And with this, like when you started dynamic efficiency and allocative efficiency, two things in the market at the entrepreneur. Now, if I'm starting a IP clinic in Gaya, now whether I have a market for IP clinic in Gaya or not, and if it is not there, by allocative efficiency, educating the people of Gaya about the allocative efficiency aspect, what are the advantage of this IP clinic? If you are going for your brand, if you are going for your copyright registration, if you are going for your designing, what advantages you are? Once you have created the given information that these are the advantage, most of the time in the class of competition, I give an illustration that can I make a 5-star hotel in front of the USB, and is it going to be workable? Then I give an example. Most of the time I quote, यहाँ पे सामने construct a temple and give this is the old temple 2000 old, and invest some money and spread awareness that if you are coming to this temple, all the nearby area is spent, and then once you have created the people started coming, and there is no stay place and all, and then after if you are creating guest house 5-star and anything. Similarly, where you are starting, if you started your IP clinic in Patna, then IP consumer is not aware about this. What are the advantage of trademark? Consumer is not aware about despite the fact that it is interwoven with each and every part of their life. Every day I'm using the brand and I am consuming the brand, and whatever I eat brand, and I take a toothbrush even by the brand, each and everything. But if you talk to the people, do they appreciate the understand? Do they have the knowledge of this? Now for that, you have to go for two things: dynamic efficiency and the allocative. By allocative create awareness, by allocative create the people that look at here what you are going to reach, not merely the information. And along with this, understand the potentiality of your rivals. Once you have started, your rivals will give the try to present by dynamic efficiency that look at here, we are specialized in this. So now each and every, as a not merely the IP clinic, either kind of work you are going to do. The IPR is the proper IPR education from the perspective of entrepreneurship to the youth. What is required? They also are required to be informed one more thing, that how you can create the edge in reference to your rivals. What things you are doing that your thing should be given a more value. And for this, the third aspect, signaling current and prospective value to investor. So you have started. The IP clinic could be of a national branch. It may have a multiple branch. But for that, what? It cannot be merely by the you are specialized, you are doing a good work. You have to assess who all are your competitor, as well as prospective investors who are, by your work, by your achievement, by your accomplishment, you have to give a signal to the market. Look at here that if I'm going to be partner with these things I'm going to get. These are the potential market. It's like the SARC program in the TV. Why they were investing? You have to present these are the possibility of your ideas. These are the things which you are doing The others, if they are going to join, if you are giving them a message that look at here, these are the things. Now how you are going to signal can be. You have to, your creativity, your work, your things, that transform creativity, innovation as per market value. You are telling to each and every individual, look at these things I can do. It's not going to. Whatever work you are, whatever the creativity you have, you must convince to the people that look at here, if you are going to be associated with me, it has the value and it has a significance in the market, and there is a taker of the things in the market. Now coming to the next aspect, what is that? That is the assist in setting new ventures, potential tools for goal setting. Assist in setting new ventures, potential tools for goal setting. Now, whatever, starting from your idea, starting from the knowledge assessment and all the things, these are, once you are giving this kind of information to the youth, the outcome, the ultimate outcome is what? The ultimate outcome of this, that the you are going to create a new goal, you are going to set a new goal, and consequently, what is it is going to? Those who have a money, they are going to come with you. If you have an idea, the people will come. If you look at the, there are number during Corona, the number of time you must have come across. There are people who are funded by, there are people who are supported by the investors, and they facilitate it. But why? Because you have given them option that this is the things in this manner. If you do, this is the potentiality of, here is a potentiality of setting new ventures. So the IP has a 5 dimension of things involved. If you are giving this training, the youth are likely to be entrepreneur. And through this, what is the youth is going to? He is going to be entrepreneur. Now, how come you can move ahead? Before we go for this, we need to understand one thing. To youth, you have to explain a concept of, as a youth, we need to understand a concept of IPR is not simply a mechanism of recognition of your work. Still, in most of the time, if you talk to the idea of the person who are creating any, composing any song, who are, except those who are indulged in the brand and the trademarks, their understanding of, or if you go to the law school, if you ask in the law school of across India, how many law school is teaching you the valuation of IPR? The IPR tree, the recognition is the only one branch. If you look at this, actually in the market, it has a 7 aspect. Recognition is a very small part. Whether as an author it is given, whether as a brand name you are given. Start from this. As a person, if I ask about an IPR student, I understand valuation of, first of all, understanding the what valuation, what worth your IP have. How to understand the valuation of your IP. And it's not a constant, it's not something which is a constant. The valuation of your IP is something which can be created. As an entrepreneur, if you start a branch, look at the DPS. Look at the Pepsi. It is not a something which you can say, or go back to 20 years back when we don't have the concept of the well-known trademarks. Or still, if you look at the act, the class registration. And contrary to this, come to the other functional level. How much strategy you have, what steps you are taking to promote your things, and accordingly, your valuation is going to be dynamic. Now, most of the person who are most of the school needs to be reframing the things. Most of the IP is specializing in the understanding the value, how, what is the current valuation of your things, and how to build, what strategy needs uh, to be adopted to build the more to increase the valuation of your IP. Now coming to the next level after valuation. Valuation, the second IPR tree is related to the exploitation of the IPR. Now look at the things. I'll start as a primary student of the copyright, literary work. How many times any person who is writing anything, or who is composing anything, or who are preparing any painting, or who are doing anything, understand the copyright is a term which we give to each and every. It is a multiple bundle right, and it could be uh, each and every right is starting from the reproduction right to the translation right to the adaptation right to the each and everything can be exploited independently, and a license can be given to different person. And as an educator also, we do not give a training to, or the who are the user also do not assist the person to exploit the things. Now there could be a difference of opinion on this point. That look at here, initially I am the first time I'm writing a book, how come I'll conceive book? But look at here, you have written a simple class 8 mathematics books, but you are very good in terms of explanation, illustration, and book. Now this book is not having a territorial boundary. The exploitation boundary of that book could be of global nature. It could be translated in n number of languages and could be sold into the either country. But did you consider, and did any publisher or anybody who are part of IPR assisted the person who is the creator of the work that the exploitation potentiality is infinite? You think the alternative option, explanation of the things from the books to the movie to the animation to the Baijum way of training, the coaching, the exploitation of the things, the way you are explaining the things, coming on the one way monotonous lecture to the a multiple way of exploitation. Now this is the possibility for that. Is still the, you'll find the majority of the institution, majority of the people who are training have not reached to the user, and they all the creators, they do not understand the possible or not explore the exploitation possibility. Now with this, the third is incidentally related. If you understand the exploitation possibility and the licensing possibility. Now licensing possibility, you know that the in terms of license, I'm not going to the much more in deeper issues about the how the licensing in the other country issue, the limitations and all those issues are involved in the licensing. But you need to understand what potentiality you have in terms of manufacturing. Many of the times, the people who have the patent, I'll give you one example of this. It has been told to me that the Pusa Agriculture Research Institute is having the patent on 600 rice varieties. And the CDRI, Central Drug Research Institute, is having a patent on 2,500 plus patents. Out of 2,500 plus patents, only 5 are being used in the market. Now, if you analyze these two facts, either the who have given the patent, they do not understand the intricacy of patent invention aspect, and if it has industrial applicability, it has a market, why there is a no taker of the things? Now the exploitation and licensing, you fail to inform to our market, our investors, are those who are working as an attorney, those who are understanding the things, they fail to take the inventor to the investor. And now, how it is possible to? You have to work as a link, you have to bridge the gap, and the valuation is going to be better. The value of IPR is going to be better. The generation is going to be part of the nation. It is going to build a nation only when these two part of the tree are properly exploited. Now, coming from there, not merely this is happening. Come to the two more things interrelated: marketing and protection. In the market, the Bihar is a one example to understand. When I came here, I have seen Bisleri, Bilseri, Bilaseri, so many kind of the apparently deceptive similar brand of water being sold in each and every compartment of railway in Bihar state. Somebody told that the Bilseri has got a registration. Look at the packet. When it comes to the deceptive similarity, causing confusion, the same. For a minute, leave the spelling of the Bilseri and the Bisleri. The green color packaging, the style of the typing in each and everything is a completely similar. Sensodyne and Semsodyne in the Bihar market, only the one spelling, one difference is there. You'll find, and very convincingly, the retailer will try to look at here, try to convince you. Look at here, those who are putting there the spelling, hardly they are in a position to understand the M and N, and that is why it is actually Sensodyne, and Sensodyne is being sold. Now, how and why this is happening? This IPR tree, if you look at the marketing aspect and the marketing related issues, the persons are not in a position to cater the market, not in a position to understand the demand, total market, what is the demand in the market, and not created their IPR attorney in each and every district. And here, for a minute, I'd like to quote the Performing Rights Society achievement. Before 95, we look at here in each and every district, go to any hotel, You'll find somebody is singing the song of the ghazal of the Jagjit Singh and making money. But once the Sanjay Tandon have taken the charge of Indian Performing Rights Society, and then and thereafter, as a part of a Performing Rights Society, the Sanjay Tandon has done one thing good. In each and every district, he has assigned one person associated with Indian Performing Rights Society, and the Indian Performing Rights Society have entered into a proper license with each and every hotel wala, and if they are going to organize any concert and where any performance songs have been sung and all the things, for that they have to pay a right. Now, this aspect, you have to, depending upon the market potential, you have to educate your producer, your innovator. Look at here, these are the possibility, these are the things which you are supposed to, these initiative you need to, you don't need a attorney only at the time of the whole infringement. You need in a preventive attorney. You need a person, each and every district for each and every kind of activities who is protecting your interest, who is informing each and every and working to protect your interest. And that part about the market is missing. Here, if you look at here, only the certain information of counterfeiting is coming, certain information is coming, then the company takes the initiative, and you some cases you succeed, some cases even you do not succeed. A series of state, I can give you the series of the market, particularly in the grocery and particularly in the lot of industries, painting, household activities. I come across that the India, there is a market despite the GST introduction and all, there is a gray area market, and where the people are the retailers and the people are selling the things, counterfeited things without receipt, and the creator of the brand, whether it is Asian Paint and all, he's not having the access to do. And from the Delhi, the gray material has been sold without the receipt and all in the Rajasthan market. By the time you are reaching there, you are getting the information. Things have been sold in such a manner. Lakhs of rupees damage has been caused, but you are not in a position to identify what is the actual damage. But if you are having the strategy for your market, preventive attorney, preventive people who are there on the ground level are entering into and assessing the things, then perhaps it could be exploited in a much more effective manner. Then coming to the next after this, protection and a competitive advantage. If you have a IP, if you understand that how current generation are there, you can the current generation which is known with the name Gen Z, the Gen Z generation feel better to be associated with the brand. Now you are associating with the brand, but can you say the things which you purchase, it is a brand? Now, as a student of trademarks, we know that how many, not merely the counterfeiting things, though, how many times the passing of cases comes, how many times the disparagement issues comes. Now, what is the things are there? Even the brand has a life. फेयर एंड लवली के आगे न्यू फेयर लवली, फेयर एंड लवली के आगे न्यू ग्लो एंड लवली. And to, as a attorney, as a student, as a youth, you need to understand, see that the competitive advantage is not only by the taking a brand, not by that claiming that I'm using the GI things, not by this, also having the, I'm taking to the first one, dynamic efficiency, for competitive advantage, modify, assess the what is the maximum life and the maximum possible saturation level of your brand, saturation level of your innovation. Every innovation has a life cycle, and particularly when I say the saturation, competitive advantage and saturation level, particularly you need to understand the, this is not a uniform. Like you must have understand, if we talk about the mobile market, there the competitive advantage and the IPR things are the such is what, if you are selling the things for us more than 1 year, the one kind of things, you are not updating, not upgrading, not coming with the new features, not coming with the new ideas, new functions, you are going to be disadvantageous position. And you have a glaring example of the Nokia and all. Our previous generation knows mobile means Nokia. The current generation knows the Apple and all, but iPhone and all. Can you predict today that the tomorrow also the Nokia, tomorrow also the iPhone and the Apple is going to be in the market? This can be maintained, and it is predictable only for, it is predictable only in one situation. When you are maintaining the what, you are assessing the things and modifying the things from the perspective of competitive advantage. Now, this IPR tree, recognition, protection, exploitation, licensing, valuation, marketing, enforcement, and competitive advantage. These all 7 needs to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These all are 8 aspects. If you look at the majority of the law schools teach you what? Protection and enforcement. The rest of the aspect has neither been assessed. Some of the law firms, you go, then you will be given a training of the law firms, you understand the valuation. So now some of the law firms, you are understanding the licensing, but still the exploitation possibility, marketing possibility, competitive advantage, all those things are not being understood properly, not being, or if some of the management schools are teaching, they are teaching in disconnect of the basic fundamentals. That needs to be understood. Now, coming to the next level. IPR, entrepreneurship, the relation, functional aspect. Make one thing very clear. Whatever product, whatever services you are taking today, each and every person needs to be communicated very clearly that every product or service that we use in our daily life is the result of a either big or small innovation. You cannot conceive and think about anything which is devoid of the IPR, which is devoid of the trademarks, which is devoid of the any of the copyright aspect, which is devoid of the any of the innovation. Primarily, whatever, whether the packaging trade dress is concerned, you many a times you'll find The small kids, when they purchase the things, how they purchase the things? They purchase the things on the basis of what? They purchase the things on the basis of the character, beam bag. They do not purchase the school bag. So the whether character merchandising, whether the any of the design copyright issue, or whether you are purchasing by the brand, or whether you are purchasing by the any functional innovation, each and everything is related to the your life. Now, next the important aspect here in the entrepreneurs in IPR things, management of creativity. See, if it is poorly managed, what it can do. If it is properly managed, what it can do. You have example of the in my classroom many times I quote this statement, uh, Deeply Life song, and the movie, what is called the one, uh, many movies who are, which are made on the theme of the traditional cultural folk song, Tal. Now look at this two movie. In Tal movie, the theme of the Tal is categorically speaking each and everything through the character. The composition is done by somebody else. The marketing and exploitation benefits is coming to the somebody else. And there are many youth who has a potentiality, and they are providing the, in terms of whether it is a theme song or whether it is a any kind of designing of work or what kind, whatever manner, without understanding the what worth you have, without understanding the creativity, proper management, you are giving the things, the song sakti sanya तो कोई 10,000 11,000 रुपए में पीपली लाइव के सॉन्ग को खरीदा गया और कॉमर्स एक्सप्लॉयटेशन मनी आई कैन नॉट to assess. You'll find a multiple many fold money have been earned. So if you are starting anything, there are n number of things you'll find in the market, that there are people who have started the thing, they have a startup, then they created, and they without investment of 35,000 40,000 lakhs rupees, they have sold to the players who are well equipped with the strategy and understand the what is the value of the things, what they have done. They have actually taken the things from one place to the other place, and what it has resulted. Because of this, something else has happened. The person who has created, he is suffering. The person who is who's having the sole control on the things, after transfer, he is making the money. Now, the entrepreneur in the market, the investor in the market, may not be in a position to understand what value it has. Why IPR? Why entrepreneur? Why youth? Because the entrepreneur, he cannot appreciate properly. He is not having the in unless until he understand all the possible nuances of IP, he will not be in a position to adequately assess the what are the possibility, what is the actual worth of his IP. And for that, you need to tell them that it is not at all simply a legal terms, or it is not simply at all an economic aspect. It is having the multifold multifaceted option, and these are the things. This is the actual value, and there this kind of IPR forms and all those persons who are nurturing, who are working in this very area can play an important role to take the knowledge, take the things interrelated with the IPR to each and individual house, to each and every individual, to each and every youth, and inform them, and to each and every probable entrepreneur and the previous who are already working there as enterprises, informing them that look at here, these are the possible educate value of the things. And if it is not properly in a proper strategic manner is going to be protected, then what you are going to, many times the good invention are not coming into the market, and you may lose in front of competitor who are not, may not be better, but because they understand, they have exploited the IP aspect properly, and they have commercialized it in an effective manner, they are having a edge over the others. For that, this training can play an important role. Now, coming to the next level. When I come say the next level, despite all this possibility, what is the real face of the innovation? What is the real face of the creativity? What is the real face of the things? The real face of the things are something different. You'll find a series of the places where you'll find one side there is a huge list of the people. During the corona, we have identified in each and every country there are people, there are youth who has come at who has advanced alternative option and provided solution to the problem, whether it is whatsoever kind of issue we have faced. But at the same time, if you look at the things in the market, you go back from the 2000 till today, every second day you will find that there whether it is an individual, whether it is a youth, whether it is a market user, every minute somebody is trying to get an advantage by using the hooks and crook, by the misuse what it begins from your campus itself. When you start copying the whole books, when you start submitting your all project report and all, whether it is a pharmaceutical commission report of 2005, Samnath Basir dissertation has been submitted by the very renowned person. I will not name those person because they are the considered the ideal in the legal field and science field. On the name of their own work with reference to the section 3. Whether it comes to the betel gourd patenting, whether it comes to the neem patenting, whether it comes to the turmeric patenting, you will surprise that who all are there. Whether it is the turmeric, whether it is a neem, or whether it is betel gourd. With respect to each, you'll surprise that the past. We know that it is a given patent in US and all. Actually, the person involved in the background is that it is the person who has shared the information. They have shared the information from the India. The scientists involved there were from India. Whether it is the betel gourd, even in the betel gourd, you know that the same things are there. Whether it is the production of the cinematograph film, whether it's a composition of composition of songs, each and every place you'll find that a series of the person who are trying to take undue advantage, and India is being always blamed by the European Union, particularly with respect to the medicine, that you have the edge in the generic medicine, particularly because of the fact that the system which you have created before 2005 and the all the time we have been blamed for this. And despite all possibility of, you look at the investment of the R&D in the industry, that will reveal a real side and the real face of our investor and our industry. That the R&D percentage are less than 5%. And some of the sectors are growth in the market by taking the avoidance route or the option given on the name of developing countries and all. We are not trying to be a champion. We are not trying to lead from the front. We are trying to take the otherwise. Now, for that region, it is necessary that we inform to the youth that look at here, there are two options. One option is if I quote during the corona, the few things which are quoted by the even the this month report report of the what is called the report of magazine of this WIPO quoted. In the WIPO, they have quoted some of the example how the during the corona the what youth have. Now in this the one is with respect to the hand sanitizing door handle. Now how they have used the existing knowledge of LED light and the kinetic energy and the titanium oxide and all during corona, the how the door is being sanitized by the knowledge of this particular LED light and the outer layer coated titanium oxide, and how it is sanitizing the door handle and all. The two Hong Kong based students, Sun Myung Ong and the King Pong Lee, he has created. Similarly, if you go to the Kenya, in the Kenya, for the purpose of the this during corona for a hospital, the engineering and medical student from the Kenyatta University, Nairobi, they have created the ventilator. In India, the youth have a capacity. They are being taught about this, but we didn't try for that particular thing. And the acute care capacity, this ventilator has been 100 ventilator have been created, produced by the student of the Kenyatta University. And what they have done, they made a difference. They have provided an option to the, and look at the in India also, if you look at the best management, when we have come with the plastic bottles shall be used for the purpose of the construction of road, and given an option of how the waste product can be managed. You alternatively, whatever you consider this is a problem, you can you provide the youth the information, they can come with a solution to the things. That is why the youth need to be trained. That is why the youth need to be informed that do these things in a different manner, do these things in a way where you can take advantage of it. Now, before I go to the next aspect, I'm not explaining what are the branches and all things. Particularly, I'm confining to entrepreneurship and IPR and youth. Now, what could be the strategy to manage and use? These are the possibilities are there. What needs to be informed to the youth, how they can manage, how they can take advantage of this. What strategy to manage and use the things. Now, the first thing here is that You need to inform, not merely train the student about that these are the potential possibility. Confidentiality, the first thing which we look at the things, most of us have this habit. And starting from the simple idea of any organizing any program to the launching any product, I have always been reminded in this reference the confidentiality about your idea and your future plan. In 2006, the Business India and the Economist Time have published a news that a huge team from the Wipro have joined the Infosys. And that time the Infosys was charged for the trade secret violation. And what actually has happened that the project which was scheduled approximately 9 to 8 months later was just after joining with a certain incremental modification. Despite the fact that it was written that there is no scope of evergreening in our IPR system, in patent system, to surprise that the manner in which the team which have joined the Infosys, despite so many hue and cry, almost every economics news, every economics related magazine have published in 2005 and 6 about that aspect of trade secret conflict between the Wipro and the Infosys. Because of the poor management of confidentiality, not having the proper contract with all players who are the part of that particular project, they lost a big future plan in the hands of Infosys with a certain colorable and incremental modification. And from that 2000 till 2005 and 6, you will see the both were parallelly moving company in the IT area. And then therein after, there's a huge difference between the Wipro and the Infosys from that one mistake. So you have, as a whatever idea, you have to first of all each and everybody who is the idea and innovation, who is creating anything, who is having the idea, who is creating anything, maintain confidentiality and move in a proper way. And if you are employing anybody in your team, have a proper agreement that how, even if he tries to, in whatever contingency is living things, in what manner he can use the things. Because if you are not maintaining confidentiality of project, you are going to. Now, then and therein after the before going for is the exploitation and all. The second level strategy is that you must understand the best ways to protect your innovation. Is it only like the Pepsi has not gone for the patent? The process of making a Pepsi, still they maintain the trade secret. And through franchisee, and they maintain they impose a clause of confidentiality, they impose a clause of not to compete to all the franchisees. Now, unless and until you understand the possible best ways to protect your innovation, and it has not been properly done. Now, how it can be done? You have to enter into agreement with all your research partners. You have to enter into agreement with all your investors. And not merely investor, whosoever is collaborating with you, all enterprises, all institutions, confidentiality and the maintaining, because you're surprised there are certain kind of the institutional patent institutional invention and all. Some of the time it is cases have come up that the initial designing part is done in CDRI and the patent was taken by somebody in the California University. We know the live instances, naming people will not be right. In the California or the Columbia or the any other university, one of the person who was the part of the initial team. And next one is that this is related to particularly about India and Indian innovator. We have a habit of publishing each and every small things and uh, showing the design to each and everybody who is working in that branch. A wide publication of your ideas without completing the proper protection steps. Unless until you have completely guarded your interest with all protection steps, don't move ahead. Whether about this, even not, I'm not concerned with the technical invention only, even about the whether it is any composition, whether it is about your brand name or whether it's about the design. We have a habit of a publication. And then understand the interrelated fact, the three dimension, if it is an invention about the standard essential patent aspect, uh, the integrity rights and the paternity rights of the copyrighted aspect. The whole transfer process, the whole taking of rights process, whole of the things. Because what is happening many times we are brought into the conflict because of the reverse engineering. You have come to know, you know all the things, you have done the things, and on the latter stage when you are reach the office, you are having a difficulty. So that aspect also you need to be very clear. You are protecting, guarding yourself about each and every aspect of this. Now, last but not the least about the strategy, understanding the multiple rights and multiple right inside there. Most of the time, what happened that those who are the student of the IPR, they look at the things mostly unless until you are working in a commercial firms and a law firms, or even the judges look at the patent means the one right. They look at the things, the copyright is the one right. The multiple right, the nature of exploitation needs to be understood, and accordingly you have to take the initiative to manage your invention. Unless you have done in this manner, you are not in a position to do anything. Now, particularly, I'll come to the now therein after since we are talking about the entrepreneur and the youth and the brand and all, how to protect the entrepreneur brand. What is need for this? What strategy needs to be evolved? As I said that most of the time, whether it is a logo making, whether it is your making taking up name, every time you'll find one thing. What? The creator, most of the time, since it is a pragmatic creator who does not understand the theoretical premises of IPR, who is a practical approach person, taken a one blocks of a one design of the any painter, any website, and use them. Now, how to protect and how to move, you should be very clear. Don't use features of any known mark, any identity in your business activity or in the course of your trade. The basic aspect that you should always guide to each and everybody, inform that. Then second, it is a market, and in the market simply having a brand name is not sufficient. You always need to be ready that you have to compete, and how you can compete, not with the quality product only. Monitor the conduct of your competitor. Now when I say the monitor the conduct of your competitor, here what becomes important, and you'll surprise that if you look at the 2099, this Trademarks Act have come. 2002 it has been in, from 2002 to 2022, 20 years. Analyze the judgment given with respect to the trademarks about the confusion, deceptive similarity, and the dilution. A dozen of the cases which needs perhaps to be analyzed from the dilution of reputation perspective. Even our judges training in the brain are, they have been basically trained in this manner, that still many of the cases they fail to appreciate that these are the cases of the dilution of reputation. Now when I say the always monitor conduct of your competitors, you must have seen many times, particularly about the all those advertisement of disparagement, particularly the all those cases about the today case of the astroturfing. Now what is astroturfing cases are there? Astroturfing normally have started from the social media used in for the purpose of political rivalry, but in commercial world, the competitors are using the astroturfing in the social media platform against their rivalrous product. And it could be either way. About the, you look at today about the halal brand and this and that, so many things are there. Now, unless and until you are, because if you are coming into the market, the other market player is also there to make price, earn money, and he can earn more and more money only when competitor is eliminated or reduced. And for that, this many times he can adopt the different, whether it is disparagement, whether he can go for dilution of your reputation by different magnitude, whether he is adopting the astroturfing, he will use the things. Then coming to the many of the packaging trade dress of your product. You look at the, there are many where potentiality is there. Start from the small product of the sweets packet and all. Despite the, I'll just come to the question and all. Somebody has written a question. I'll just I'll come to that. I'll just within 5 minutes I'll finish it up, and then I'll come to the. I'll answer back to the question. Now, even trade dress का आपकी पैकेजिंग जो है, out of 100 brands that are in the market, whether about the product, whether about the services, despite the fact that the possibility of that you can altogether think about the new combination, resistant to think differently, resistant to some that you develop, majority of us have a habit of colorable imitation. Arjianand approach. Even in the trade days of product, you'll find the majority of the product are somehow not in a position to create the uniqueness. At the same time, you look at in the market, some of the product you recognize because of if somebody tries to do any kind of fraud, any kind of counterfeiting product, on the basis of it's a trade dress you can identify. Now, if you have to manage, you come with a unique trade dress. And it may take time, but what is at the end I'll advise, don't try to ride on the reputation of your competitors. It may take time, but if you have an idea, try to deliver. Still, there are number of things use those potentiality of IP entrepreneur education. Assess all those things, what market need, and accordingly, if you are using your creativity and alternate option you are providing, then there is a lot of scope. You can survive in the market, you can create the wealth, you have the competency, you have the capacity. With this approach, this IP day is being celebrated across the world, and for that we are today talking and discussing today. Now, just by the few things, what steps you should take to prevent the misuse, and lastly, by quoting how to build the value of your IP. Remember, it is easy to enter into the market on the shoulder of somebody else. Most of the, as a student, when you come, you start your, if you have worked with some IP firms and when you are working independently, the difference you can understand, freedom to operate. Is not there. You have to work on a particular line and the cases assigned to you. Whereas that you can only specialize on a one. I'll give you one example of that trademark office classification, procedural aspect of classification. There will be issue. The registrar office of the Bombay and the registrar office of the Delhi, one particular subject, but there are number of classes where there are conflict. You'll find the Bombay Trademark Registrar Office have kept the same type of subject matter on a different class, and where the Delhi have kept into that. So you can specialize and you can be the person only about the classification. But till the time you are confined to a one law firms and one person, your capacity to look differently and to specialize differently is not there. So if you have to, this is only illustration. If you have to move ahead, if the youth have to think in any branch, always develop a capacity to operate independently. Then whatever things you are coming with, differentiation from the existing one, in terms of the what purpose it can serve, your product differentiation possibility should be there. And then choose the as much possible as the new enabling technology with the possible potential investor option. Many times what India and the India scientists are missing, a mighty 98% invention and the whatever things they have the direct collaboration with the industry and they do on the subject which have a taken. In India, Many times even in the classroom I have quoted the dengue first time came after the Bengal famine, and we do not have a medicine for the dengue. So our linkages with the problems are very poor. You have to invest, you have to research not as per your interest only, as per the market requirement, and then only you will have the competitive advantage. Then you are going to achieve a lot. I'll conclude. There are many things which could be on each and every brand, each and every aspect of IPR. We can talk about many things. By thank you with a one statement: think, innovate, express in a different ways than the previous. Creativity have value. This message should be passed to each and every youth that if you are writing in a different way, you are doing in a different way, that tomorrow you could be an entrepreneur, and you could be a job creator, you could be a asset builder, you can create the nation, you can help and assist in the economic growth of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much for enlightening us in a short session of, I think, 1.5 hours. You have enlightened us on the various aspects of the theme, that is the IP and youth innovating for a better future, and covering some of the pointers that sir mentioned, that yes, youth needs to be trained as a youth can be a consumer, creator, and a violator itself. So the proper training uh, would affect them and can turn them into a proper entrepreneur, and they can function in the market by using the tools of IP, understanding the tools of IP, understanding not only creating the brand image and protection, but also the valuation, marketing, and the competitive advantage. These are the very, we can say, very heavy session, we can say, on these topics in a short period of time. But yes, we have some questions as well. Uh, we would be addressing them one by one. Uh, uh, First question was from, I'm forwarding sir you the on your chat. The question from uh, Aman Sagar, that why on the Tal movie that you mentioned, uh, that while the Tal movie revolves around folk songs, folk music, there are various folklores associated with tribal and indigenous communities. As these fall under unconventional or less talked IPs, what measures can be taken to curb out malpractice or misappropriation of these IPs by big giants in music and fashion industry?
See, what is the basic issue? The similar mechanism which you have adopted for the performance right. For the indigenous community also, since we are taking, we have, if you look at UNESCO and all, emphasizing about the indigenous community rights. Similarly, uh, the youth of that particular area, anybody needs to be trained about that. What are the possibility about this? Some tribals about the art. There's alternatively what you have done about the traditional knowledge. Like if you look at the traditional knowledge, we have with the help of the FIPO and our ICCSSR and so many other stakeholders, they have listed across the world the traditional knowledge, and nowadays you'll find a less or issue of the traditional knowledge. There will be some cases is coming, but the less issue about the traditional knowledge violation is coming. But so far as the folk music and all coming, still there is a less steps have been taken. So two level steps are required to be done. One, at the level of the local level, where this kind of the awareness program uh, of youth, like if you look at the if you read uh, the IPO, this one. So there are some of the argued particularly about the those local people. They can be trained. The indigenous people can be trained. Now, unless and until you start a kind of awareness about the this particular to the tribal people, to the indigenous people. So by the giving them the awareness that these are the possibility, definitely simply awareness will not serve. You need a twofold option. One is enlisting up those activities on the name of those community. That this song, this type of things are belonging to, they are the person, they are holding the right, as you have done for the teacher, as well as certain kind of association like performing right for the indigenous rights association who are entering into the who are there to protect the right, like as it's created by the fund for the plant varieties and all. There you have given the option of the community fund and all those things. Similarly, for this folklore and all, perhaps only submission there could be much more. You can supplement, you can conceive a three-step minimum, and that with what the WIPO has started and what this kind of the clinic and those things can be uh, working or associated with the certain tribes and all. First of all, you have to identify, because you are you are having the knowledge about the things, you are getting the information only that somebody is already commercially exploited, and after that you are coming into the picture. And the difficult part is that those person who has the actual claim, they are very happy that they are the Pandatha and the part of the movie. That is very big achievement for him. He is not considering that his folklore, his songs are having so much value. This has a commercial value he may earn. So for that, twofold work you have to do. First, enable them, they must understand that these are the possibility there and enlisting others. Thank you. What is the next one? Moral right is might
My,
is right.
I think this is the same on the same aspect. Might is right, which is what followed throughout the world. So even if people life is made out by providing minimal compensation against the IP vested in the consent fund, how can such thing come to an end given the fact these people are almost unaware about their rights?
See, might is right till I'm not aware. Till I'm not challenging. Till you are accepting chalta hai. The first step is like the today's session may be a small one. If it is of in place of a English in the native language, state it rather than you are doing, state should have done a class based state in a native language and informing from the TV half an hour, 1 hour session for a week, and those चौपाल and all वहां से लाइव टेलीकास्ट किया होता और ये बताया होता पूरे बिहार में कि देखिए आपका मधुबनी पेंटिंग है, आपकी ये है, तो एटलीस्ट आपको इंफॉर्मेशन तो मिलता ना। अब 100 में से एक आदमी ही सही अवेयर होता, वो शायद उसमें से एक में से कोई एक ऐसा होता जो वॉइस रेज कर सकता। तो इन फ्यूचर आप प्रिवेंट करने की पोजीशन इमीडिएटली अभी भी आज तक ये सही है कि माइट इज राइट है, कई जगह पे माइट इज राइट है, बट दिस इज द फंक्शन, दिस इज नॉट अ रूल, दिस रूल कैन बी चेंज्ड। नेक्स्ट वन।
So next question is from Gautami. What is your take on protection of IP rights on the cyberspace platforms? Do you think there is a need to revitalize the freedom of cyberspace industry pertaining to IPR laws, and what can be the rendering solutions to protect and make accessible IP rights with emphasis on restrictions on social media?
Okay. See, Gautami, so far as the cyberspace space IP and platform is concerned, the concept which you have advanced the freedom of cyberspace in, industry pertaining to IPR laws and all, has been advanced some of the person, but if you look at here today, it is a combination of 5 school which is being practiced. We have a cyber pattern school, we have a nudging school. Now the maximum, rather than I'll suggest, there is a school in the cyber space, a cyber school or cyber jurisprudence. They argue about the nudging and intervention. The nudging is what? The nudging, what is basically done by the with the help. Look at here the if you think about the freedom of cyberspace industry pertaining to IPR laws and all, perhaps you are claiming something. Something. Every individual is having the root of the one country, even if the cyberspace is there. And not only the one activity which is about the IP. Even in the cyberspace, whether you are purchasing any product, whether you are whether it is an issue of the freedom of speech and expression, or whether it is about the privacy, whether it is the issue of the intervention with your right, whatever is about the cyberspace is concerned. If you try to create as a separate and give a freedom, and for that, perhaps you are going to raise a number of another problem. Like look at here, I'll give you by one illustration. The whole of the cyberspace, the website registers the ICANN registration and UDRP policies there. Do you consider, particularly if you look at the, if I ask about the competing rights of the trademarks and the website, are we get a appropriate answer by doing this, that alternative mechanism the UDRP policy have given? Perhaps not. Rather, what could be the more, or what is that the is a separate session perhaps will be required for this, that we if you talk about this, we require the understanding of the 5 schools of the cyber laws, cyber jurisprudence, and a combination in between can effectively monitor, because it is not about the one nation, it is not about the one IPR, it is about the data, it is about the border flow of the data, it is about the government right of the sovereignty. It's not about the one aspect involved that you can very easily can take a decision and say that here and after, okay, for IPR there is a domain and there, because there is a national laws are also involved, and you look at here the because of those there is still the particularly trademarks, particularly copyright, still we are having the conflict. So that will not be the appropriate that you consider give a freedom of cyberspace for IPR laws separately. Rather, I'll give a combination approach of all school, and with the more use of nudging and intervention. First, go for nudging and behavioral intervention change, where the society itself can develop and accept that this is the behavior for me on a cyberspace. So nudging and intervention will be more appropriate way of changing. Like it's about that those who follow the law, out of them, the 80% have made the laws are part of their lives. So once you become yourself, your mind had been trained, conditioned basically. So by conditioning, you can create more effective IP protection in cyberspace, rather than the, if you are going for the as you suggested, whether we can do you think there is a need to revitalize the freedom of cyberspace? No, perhaps I have a different opinion. It will not be. It will be the paternalism, nudging, and intervention, and behavioral intervention will do more effective regulation in cyberspace, because it is not an issue about the cyberspace, the IPR laws alone. The IPR laws are all along with this involving the other so many the government own interest of about the like you look at here the all social media platform, the interpersonal cyber crime, and so many things are interlinked. Data, trans-border data flow. So I perhaps will not will favor this. You need to revitalize, but the freedom of cyberspace industry pertaining to IPR laws, no. Perhaps this is my personal.
The other question that we are having is from Sakshi Sahai. Sir, as per the IP ranking by USPTO and EU, India stands on the worst list in terms of IP. With the inception of cyberspace, we are currently facing the issues of piracy, domain name dispute, cyberspace plagiarism. I, holding a limited knowledge, is aware of these issues. So, what you, as an industry expert, would recommend to these kinds of issues as we are switching to metaverse, Internet 2.0 very soon? How should India approach in regard to IP legislation and policies?
We definitely have to. We are switching to metaverse very soon. How should we India approach in regard of IP legislation policy? See that the I'll suggest at least about the 2-3 fold change which are there. One is about, like, look at here the if you look at India approach about the responding to the cyberspace issue. We come with a draft policy in 2019, then it has been modified in 2020. It is 2022. The things are changing very fastly, but our response, our understanding, our training to the industry, and our training to those stakeholders, particularly the uh, uh, executor, enforcer, if you talk about, their training is very poor, and our policy changes whatever we are suggesting. So that is very slow. That needs to be effectively as per the requirement. We need to, whatever draft policy we have made about the e-commerce and all, that need to be implemented immediately. One step. Second, coming to the aspect about that, look at whether it is piracy, whether domain name dispute, whether it's a cyber scripting, whether it's a plagiarism. These all four terms. If you take an individual nation-based mistake, what till today India have done? I'll perhaps uh, most of the time I quote that India is not a part of. Right now we have the one European convention, but for the namesake it is a European Cybercrime Convention, but we are not where members from the Japan is member, where the Canada is member, where the Brazil is member, where is the USA is member, but India is, where Australia is member, but India is not. See the all the issues, whether it's about cyber squatting, whether it's a piracy, whether it's a domain name dispute, all the issues if you look at here. Whether it is an issue about the cyber security. In all places, one thing is very important to understand. What is that? Can we collect the data for investigation only from our server, from our resources? Perhaps not. It is not, the list is not here going to take. Whether it is a Pegasus, whether it is a monitoring issue, whether it is the Financial fraud is a multiple country domain and their country station, their server, which is involved there. And you know that it's not a simple issue of that you'll go and they will say it. There's a real-time monitoring from the other places required. And that procedural investigation facility is possible only when you are entering into the such kind of cyber crime convention and all, and you are becoming a member then only, because individually whatever alertness, whatever policy you get, cyberspace is the one place where only individual national law is not going to serve and protect you. So how should we approach by legislation and policy? I perhaps whatever policies you are making, it is legislation you are making, that is on a proper track. But possibly we need to take different route and procedural investigation, international cyber convention, either under the umbrella of United Nations, or so that you must be having the procedural assistance. Unless until you do this, because the all WIPO initiative of online domain name dispute settlement and all those things, these all are in a real-term implementation, real-term execution. You will have a lot of issues, because if you look at here, if you may be knowing, this is also along with this, when particularly when these issues come, the other countries are involved. When you challenge, when execution issue comes, particularly about India and Indian courts, the other country have a perception that the Indian courts are not good in terms of execution of the claim of the other country stakeholder or investor in India. That will go beyond this domain, like we have for the we
Hello, sir. Your video is not, you are not audible, sir. Yes.
particularly about the policy will not discuss. Thank you.
One last question from Sheenam Shoaib. Good evening, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. I would like to ask, what message would you like to give to the law students and youth who are pursuing their career in IPL?
Be specialized of one branch of IPR, understand the nuances each and every. Uh, but all IP, along with IP, do also understand the cyber aspect of related to the cyber platform and all. Because all, if you are only focusing on the field and the real world, and not the virtual world, perhaps there will be disconnect. That is all only things which I can.
If anybody else wants to ask any question, they can unmute themselves. The floor is open for any session. So any question?
Should we finish, Robin? Because I have,
yes.
I'm getting the calls from the other university, so they have some other work.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sir. So moving towards the end of the webinar, I would like to, on behalf of IP Trademark Clinic, I sincerely express my gratitude to Sir Srivastava sir for addressing today's session and being present there. We honored, sir, and we learned a lot from you, and hope that we have the opportunity of inviting you to our future events as well. And I would also like to thank all the participants for being present there and uh, uh, interacting with good questions. And happy World IP Day. And thank you once again. hope to see you again soon in the future. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you. Thank you. Greetings for the IP day. Thank you.
Everyone can leave now. Thank you.